Arm Wrestling News Q&A Part 2. I asked for questions in the community tab. You guys gave me 50 questions. First video consisted of 10. This will have 10 more questions. So if your question is not selected, I'll post the same community question once again for asking questions this Saturday. So please try there and hopefully we will select your question and answer it there. This is going to be an amazing series. I can see it already. So the first question, do you have a bigger dream for the channel aside from the state it is now, even if you can or cannot do it? So yes, of course, I do have lots and lots of dreams for this channel because I absolutely love arm wrestling and I absolutely love my YouTube channel. So the first, I would say, dream or fantasy in my mind is that I want to build a good high quality professional level studio where I can interview all of the guests physically, not just on Zoom meetings. I know that is a far away dream because it doesn't seem to be possible right now because not many arm wrestlers are traveling to India. And then I would like to hire a team of video editors, maybe some people who can do some research for me, and graphic designers. I want to add some t-shirts and other merchandise to the channel and have professional video editors. Lots and lots of stuff. I want to travel strictly for work. I'm not a person who likes to travel. Well, I'm going to Turkey. Let's go sightseeing there. Let's visit the famous places. No, I absolutely hate traveling, but I would love to travel for work. My traveling would be strictly take a flight, go to work, do your job with 100% perfection as much as you can, and then return home. Just like Todzilla. Pack your bag, go to the venue at the last time and beat someone and then just go back to your home. That's how I will be when I start traveling. I absolutely hate traveling, but I would love to travel for work. And then when I'm big enough, both financially and in terms of subscribers and everything, I would love to help new arm wrestlers create social media, both as a guidance and maybe some support. Because just imagine if a new arm wrestler who is from Kazakhstan, he wants to do something about arm wrestling, about social media, and if I have, let's say, 500,000 subscribers, just a shout out from me can give him a couple of thousand subscribers and monetize his channel immediately. That would be an amazing dream. So arm wrestling level up. First of all, thank you for your kind words. It means a lot. Your question and the question from Adnan is basically the same. You're saying that I'm not even an arm wrestler and I still can do some good things for the arm wrestling community. I can provide something to the community and in return, I can take something from the community as well. And you'll for sure be on the channel. That's not a problem. So my question is, how do you feel about the love that you had given? Okay. Yeah, the journey has been amazing. Arm wrestling journey has been amazing. And Adnan's question as well. How far are you from living while completely depending on your channel? And I really like you, Pradeep. All the support. I like you too, brother. You were amazing on Engin Terzi's channel as a guest few days ago. I absolutely loved the show. So first question, the arm wrestling community support. First of all, how did I get into arm wrestling? So basically, the new arm wrestling fans are like, well, we watched someone arm wrestle, then we got excited, we got to know that it is a sport and we got hooked up with the sport. And the people who have joined the community before, let's say 2017, 16, 18, they have kind of a different story and I too have that story. I absolutely loved to arm wrestle everyone since I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. I arm wrestled everyone and beat everyone in my school. So that's how my journey started. I never knew that arm wrestling is a sport. Never saw an arm wrestling table, nothing. Just loved to compete with my relatives or friends. Whoever I can see, whoever I can find, whoever I can convince to arm wrestle, I will do that. The feeling of beating them, that was a good feeling. Let's be honest. Everyone loves to win in arm wrestling. Then I saw Travis Bagent highlight videos around 2015 and that got me hooked up into arm wrestling. And then Devil had highlight videos. So it started like that. Then I started watching WL videos. So it was a never ending loop. And for me, the story is kind of interesting because I used to arm wrestle with the friends back then. But as soon as I became a super fan, I started watching everything in arm wrestling. I actually stopped arm wrestling. So when I didn't know about arm wrestling, I was arm wrestling back then. As soon as I knew about arm wrestling, I stopped arm wrestling. Kind of weird thing. I've started again or I will start again. I've been saying that for last 2 years. Who knows? So how far away am I from becoming a full-time YouTuber? I'm already 2 years ahead of time. I could have been a full-time YouTuber about 2 years ago, but I have a bond in my government job. In last video, I said that yes, I'm a scammer because it was a stupid question. So I answered it in a stupid way, but I was surprised to see that many people took it seriously. So I've been working with the government for about 9 years. Since I was still in my teens, I was 19 years old, so almost 9 years, and I still have lots of years left in my bond. That's why I cannot leave my job. If I could, I would have already left it 2 years ago and full-time YouTuber. Next question. Do you think the Kazakhstan pullers are so good because of nationalism and wanting to make the nation proud? So first of all, I think in sports, in general, nationalism or patriotism, it is a good thing. It never hurts you. It always pushes you forward. Well, if you get stuck in some kind of politics within your country related to sport, then it can be a bad thing. But when you're representing your country at an international level, then being a patriot is always an amazing thing. It pushes you forward. The Turkish arm wrestlers saluting after winning golds, that gives you pride, and I think it pushes you forward. So talking about Kazakhstan, I think it is a mixture of many things. First of all, they have a well-defined training program. They start training the arm wrestlers since when they're kids, and everything is figured out. But in India, in USA, Canada, Australia, when let's say 16-year-old guy goes to 16-year-old boy goes to some arm wrestlers, they'll say, well, you have to figure it out on yourself. I don't think that is the right decision to make for that young kid. It should be defined. The young guys should not be doing all kinds of different things. So when you're joining, you should have a defined program. So everyone will do these same exercises depending on their strength. They'll increase or decrease the weight for, let's say, first 2 years. Then we'll figure out. Hire a coach. Ask someone like Paul Lin to write a program. Hire Paul Lin to write a program for them. And then you can create a business out of it as well. Because where there is money, there can be some fast improvements made. Yes, the hardcore style gyms where like there are not much facilities, everyone is tough. That is also important, but a training program is also important. So I think it's a mixture of everything. Training program, successful arm wrestlers, nationalistic feelings, and pride, respect thing. They're respected when they go back at their home. If you're not respected, maybe you will not try that hard. What is your perspective on drug use in arm wrestling, as many athletes are using too much, as if arm wrestling has become a sport to see who can do more drugs without dying? So I have one more similar question. Will PEDs become an issue, or is it just an accepted practice that runs too deep to stop? So I think, first of all, I am against PEDs, but not for now, just like every other promoter. Engin Terzi is also saying that I can stop PEDs, I can test the athletes, but all of the other organizations will have to do the same. Why does Engin say so? Because the reason is simple. If Engin implements drug testing and other leagues don't, then the athletes will just compete in the other leagues. They cannot go on and off cycle. Then Engin's organization will be hurt, which will be a bad decision. So I think only an outsider businessman can implement these things, because till the time only arm wrestlers are running these arm wrestling organizations, it is going to be difficult. An outsider who doesn't have much to say about other organizations, he can implement drug testing, and then maybe others will have to follow. Or if he's big enough, he has to be big enough. If he's small enough, no professional athlete is going to compete in his league. Let's say if Core Sports, if King of the Table, Engin are offering $10,000, suddenly somebody magically appears who is offering $60,000, but it is drug tested, then Engin and King of the Table may have to adapt, and vice versa, whoever can do that. But I think it has to be an outsider first. Pro Punjab League is a professional league in India, and they tested 10 athletes in India in the ranking tournament, and they found 2 positive for drug testing. They were banned for like 3 or 6 months, but the punishment will increase in the future. If you had to take a guess as to who will be the #1 arm wrestler in the world 5 years from now, who would it be? My guess would be Artem Morozov. He's 6'4", 135 kilos, trying to reach to 140, still lean, still ripped. He's good left, he's good right. There is a good possibility that he will be number one both left and right-handed, unless there is some 20-year-old monster right now that we don't know of. Then that is a possibility. But Artem is smart, he looks handsome. People say that he's really funny in Russian. Maybe his attention gets diverted. He gets some bigger offers like in a TV acting or movies acting in Kazakhstan. I don't know, but Artem Morozov can be a safe bet. I think he'll be bigger than Hermes Gasparini, bigger in terms of level of arm wrestling and also physically, and bigger in terms of arm wrestling than Levan Saginashvili as well in 5 years. So that's my bet. What do you think about Engin and Neil pickup as promoters and their personalities? First of all, I think they're kind of different, but one thing is that both love arm wrestling. I will say that Engin is more hardworking. The reason of that could be Engin is retired. He is all the time at home. He can think about arm wrestling the entire day. Neil Pickup still has a job. That is kind of a negative for us. If Neil Pickup was living in Turkey, with the amount of money he can be making from YouTube and organizing arm wrestling events, he would also be a full-time arm wrestling organizer or arm wrestler, whatever you want to call it. So I think that's the reason, because he still works in the wine industry. But both of them are extremely passionate about arm wrestling. Engin is the best thing that has ever happened to arm wrestling. We went from seeing 100 super matches in 1 or 2 decades to seeing 100 super matches in 1 or 2 years. Only Engin Terzi could have made that possible. We are living in the golden era. You can ask 100 out of 100 arm wrestlers in 2020 and ask them if they will be seeing such times in the arm wrestling world where we have amazing super matches every 2 months. Nobody would have believed that. Engin made it possible. So I would say Engin has everything in his mind that is required to be a businessman. But sometimes he's a little bit emotional, too much emotional. If he learns how to allocate work, I know it is difficult. It is extremely difficult for every businessman in the beginning. But if he sometimes just lets it go, yeah, I know I will be doing that better, but I'll just have to trust the other guys this time, and then they'll start helping him a lot. Then the business will work. And I hope Engin Terzi turns himself into a true professional businessman, because he will always love arm wrestling. A guy who already loves arm wrestling, now he's a businessman as well. That combination will just change the world of arm wrestling. And he has already changed the world of arm wrestling, but I'm talking about even further steps. Because let's say Engin decides, now I'm an arm wrestling lover and I'm also a businessman. 10 matches only. Yes, guys, you were amazing, but suddenly I got a match. I can make Levan versus Dennis happen at East versus West 12. So you guys will have to wait. You'll compete in the next one. Because I love arm wrestling, I will not just neglect you. You're postponed till the next one. These kind of business moves will be extremely beneficial for the sport of arm wrestling. Neil, I would say at this point of time, Neil is kind of a jack of all trades. He's not a master of any one of them. Commentary, yes, but he's not really available for commentating all the time. He's the best commentator in the world, but how many times is he commentating in a year? 1, 2? That's about it. So you cannot really say that he's like really Superman in that case, because he's not giving enough of his amazing services. And organizing events, well, we cannot say really that Armwrestling is the best organization. And other than that, I would say, and about the commentary thing is as well, Neil was organizing matches for PL, for WL, commentating for them. Both PL and WL are over now. So Neil's effectiveness in the arm wrestling world is slowly declining. I hope he's somehow able to focus everything on just one thing and not trying to do many other things. Not saying that he's doing them right now, but if he's really focused, I don't personally agree with his business plan when it comes to Arm Wars, but if he's able to make something great out of it, I'll be really happy, and I'll be always amazing if I can give 1% contribution in the promotion of his Arm Wars. I'll be really happy to do that. So Abdul Rahim has asked many questions. First of all, I'll answer Morozov versus Levan. I would say Levan 3-0. If the match stops, Levan is done. Artem Morozov is not Hermes Gasparini. His endurance is way better. Probably the best in the world for anyone who weighs over 130 kilos. So if the match stops, it's over, but I don't think it is going to stop. Dennis versus Levan, it can happen. If Dennis beats Devon in October, I think the next match has to be Levan. I don't see any point in having Dennis arm wrestle any other guy after that. So next question, can Larry Wheels beat Derek Smith in a super match? I've been saying that for almost 2 years. When Derek Smith visited Dubai, whenever somebody was asking, I was saying, I can bet money that Larry would have beat Derek about 1.5 years ago. Forget about now. Derek says that he can beat Larry on the right, but I think Larry beats him on both arms, left and right. And that, in my mind, has been the case for more than a year now. What do you like and dislike the most about arm wrestling? Wow, that's my question being asked to myself. That's amazing. So what do I like about arm wrestling the most? The feeling of pinning someone. I don't really arm wrestle, so that answer may sound surprising to you, but the feeling of pinning people, that's a really good feeling. And I think that is the feeling that drives most of the people, that creates the interest for most of the people in the sport of arm wrestling. Other than that, I would say that without even actually arm wrestling, I'm able to contribute. I cannot love something where I have zero value, and by value I mean I can provide something. If I move my hands, if I use my brain, if I stay awake for long nights, work 7, 8, 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours for something, and I'm able to create some value, then this is love for me. If I'm not able to do anything in the sport, then for me it is like really difficult. Yeah, you can still be a fan, but I want to provide some value. That's how I see it. And the thing that I dislike about arm wrestling, first of all, rules. I absolutely hate arm wrestling rules. And I'll not use dislike now. Hate. I absolutely hate. And I think the arm wrestling elites have done a very poor job in deciding what rules should be used in arm wrestling. Because let's be honest, arm wrestling is a sport for almost a century now, and we still haven't figured out what the rules mean. Half of the referees do not know what the rules are. They always give wrong calls. Missing some elbow foul is a different thing, but giving wrong calls that are that are not conducive to the rules, then nothing can be said. That's the thing that I really dislike. The things like we say ready before go. False start is not a foul. It is just a warning. That's a dumb rule. So these things need to be worked out, and these things need to be worked out now before at least Paralympics occupy arm wrestling. They include arm wrestling in 2028. And another thing that people think, the high level arm wrestlers think that if you are not an equally high level arm wrestler as them, you do not even have the right to give your opinion. I think everybody should have the right to give their opinion. So these are the things that I don't really like about arm wrestling. When did you start following arm wrestling? I think I've already answered this question about 2014-15, but I was arm wrestling before that. 2015 I started. Why don't you actually arm wrestle? It would add depth to your perspective. That's a really good point. I really like, one of the best questions, and I've been thinking about it a lot. So the basic reasons are, I have a job, which I've already mentioned. I spend more time on my YouTube than my job. So I'm literally working for like 16 hours every day, every single day, 7 days a week, non-stop. So that's the main reason why I don't focus that much on arm wrestling. And I believe that I have kind of weak joints. I really have weak joints. Like whenever I do something, I always hurt myself without even going 100%. That is one of the excuse. So when my team gets bigger, when my YouTube team gets bigger, I can really get serious. And yes, it will add. There are only 10% people, less than 10% people who are saying that you don't even arm wrestle. Why does your opinion matter? So it would be good. Not that it bothers me a lot, but it would be good if those 10% also start supporting me. Just because now I've started arm wrestling and probably started placing in state championships or something. I think that will be a good start. So this session was awesome. Almost 20 minutes, I guess. I don't know what the time is. But thank you very much for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you again.